Ding dong YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Jobless Coder, and today I wanted to tell you why it is that I wake up every single day of my life and take the black pill. Now, the black pill, if you don't know, is a metaphor for essentially nihilism. It's the belief or the feeling that everything is utter hopelessness and despair. There's no hope, and no matter how hard you try, to do anything to change your situation or your life or your current circumstance, you'll just always fail. So I am 2 days away now from completing an online course and doing the final exam to get certified as a personal fitness coach slash online trainer. Now, you would think that this is something to be hopeful about, something to celebrate and be excited for. I'll tell you why that's not necessarily the case and why I'm not particularly hopeful at all about it. You see, ever since I was about 10 years old, from the age of 10, I knew that I wanted to be an American citizen and move to the US. And ever since then, all I have wanted to do with my life, all I have desired, my number one desire, is to move to America and become an American citizen. Now, at the age of 25, that is more than half my life that I have wanted to be an American citizen. I feel that I have far more things in common with Americans, American culture, American ideals, everything about the country, the Constitution, all of that. I just feel more at home when I'm in America, when we go vacationing with the family. I fucking hate being in Canada. I don't like living here. I am as American can be without actually living in the geographical location. That's the one difference. I mean, I am more interested in American politics and American news and whatever is going on in America. And so all these crazy Antifa freaks that tell you that America is the worst place that ever existed, the most systemically racist, horrible country on the face of the earth, I would, in a heartbeat, if it were at all possible, trade my Canadian citizenship with them if it meant being an American citizen. That is how desperately I want to live in America. I would, without even a question, trade my Canadian citizenship for any one of these Antifa folk if they want to give theirs up. I can go on for an hour telling you about all of the reasons and the specific things that I like about America and why I would rather be American than a Canadian citizen. But I'm not going to go into every single specific detail because that's going to take an hour. I'm just trying to establish a baseline understanding here of how desperately I want to be an American citizen. Even here for Christmas, my dad got me these American bald eagles because he knows how much I love America. We all hoped that this year could be the year that I finally get to fulfill my dream of immigrating to America. Well, that may not necessarily be the case. You see, I want to say another few things here. Our family went to Phoenix, Arizona in November for the championship NASCAR race. This is something that I have only ever witnessed on TV. I grew up watching NASCAR. My entire family grew up watching NASCAR with my dad every Sunday afternoon. I've never seen a NASCAR race in person. And the moment the Air Force jets flew overhead at the end of the national anthem, I nearly cried. That is how surreal the moment was to be there in person to witness the championship NASCAR race. Me and my brother sitting in the stands in Phoenix in the NASCAR track, from where we were sitting, we could look out and across the track, across the desert, and see the highway, the main highway that leads into Phoenix, Arizona. And we saw what I could only believe was the presidential motorcade, a convoy of 9 or 10 black-clad vehicles with sirens and lights flashing as it was going into the city. Turns out that the president's wife, Jill Biden, was actually in Phoenix, Arizona that day to give a speech. And so I'm pretty confident that's what we saw was the presidential motorcade cage. So these are all things that are just so fantastic about America. And like I said, getting to experience the jets flying overhead was a once in a lifetime opportunity. And It may just be that, something I only ever experienced once. I have a friend that I tell all this to. He's not as black pilled as me. He refuses to take the black pill. Now, granted, he doesn't particularly have a reason to take the black pill. His life and his current circumstance is a far better and more superior to mine. Now, granted, he is older than me, so yes, he's had a lot more time to fuck things up in his own life, but as it is right now, he's got a pretty stable job working in the construction industry. He's got a livable income from that. He lives with roommates and he shares a place. He's got a boyfriend that's really nice. He's recently mended his rocky relationship with his father. He has dual citizenship because when he was younger, he spent part of his time living in Canada with his father and part of his time living in America with his mother. And so he has that ability, having dual citizenship, to live essentially wherever he chooses. If he has some horrible medical episode or needs surgery, he can come to Canada and get the surgery done here without having to pay $50,000 or go into debt like the American healthcare system. But because he's a dual citizenship, he can also go back to America. If things in Canada ever got so bleak, I mean like shit really hit the fan under Justin Trudeau's dictatorship to the point where we would actually have to flee to avoid persecution, he can just go to America. I can't. If he just woke up one day and decided that he would prefer to live in America again, he can just move back there. I can't, which is why I'm trying so desperately hard to get my American citizenship. And I frankly just don't know how. Now, you see, 4 years ago, when I got fired from my job, I tried looking for work everywhere. And ever since then, for the past 4 years, I have been applying for tech jobs bloody well everywhere, in Canada and in America and even in the UK. And no one will hire me anywhere to work for them. So my current situation is I applied to jobs in just about every state because frankly, I don't give a shit what state. I just need to get into a state so that I can get my citizenship. And then once I'm an American citizen, then I can decide and pick and choose where it is that I actually want to live within the country. But I would work anywhere just to get that opportunity. The problem is, as the visa program operates in America, as far as I understand it, you essentially have to prove as a company that that position was not able to be filled with an equivalent American talent. And every single day in the news, when I wake up and I see another 10,000 people laid off of Facebook, another 5,000 people let go of Amazon, another 6,000 people fired from Google, 3,000 people fired from Twitter, no government agency is going to believe that this tech position for programmer was unable to be filled with American tech talent when there's 300,000 programmers that have been cast out into the workforce in the unemployment line that are now looking for work. No government is going to believe that, oh, well, we couldn't fill the position with an American programmer, hence we had to hire this Canadian and we need the visa for him to come over here. So I've basically lost all hope in that regard of ever getting a job in tech, at least for the next decade, let's put it that way. And I don't particularly want to stay here in Canada for the next decade. So now what I did is I decided to do these online courses to become a certified personal trainer. So I'm 2 days away from graduating from the online courses and doing the final test and becoming certified, which would allow me to now apply for positions at gyms potentially in America where they could sponsor my visa. And maybe that would be a different avenue in a different way to ultimately achieve my end goal. And then I wake up this morning and find out that the CDC has decided that come May 11th, they will be changing their policies for foreign and international travelers to the US. As of May 11th, you will now require one of the bivalent booster shots for the COVID vaccine to enter the country. That was updated in August of 2022. Now, you see, I got the vaccine for Johnson & Johnson in November of 2021. And anytime there's any announcements about COVID or the vaccines, they only ever talk about Moderna or Pfizer. So I don't essentially know where I stand or fit in that regard. But Now I'm facing the position where I have a very narrow window of opportunity between getting certified as a personal trainer and now, great, I've got 10 days to find a gym that would want to hire me and sponsor a visa and get all the documents and everything laid out and travel arrangements and all of that sorted out within this 10-day window so that I can potentially move to America. And that's assuming I can even find a gym. I mean, I'm a certified trainer, but I haven't any job experience, so fucking good luck with that, finding a gym that's going to want to hire me and bring me to America. A 10-day window, right? To fill everything out, the paperwork, job application, do the interview, and then find travel arrangements. Otherwise, come May 11th, that's the cutoff line. And worse, would it impact my ability to immigrate to America and become an American citizen? Worse, I might never even be able to visit again and go and travel because I'm an international foreign traveler to the country. I'm not an American citizen, so I don't have a right to be there. But I'm not going to go and get that booster shot. You say, oh, well, what's the big deal? Just go and get the bivalent booster shot. Sure, if that's how you want to live for the rest of your life, capitulating to tyrants, tyrants are going to hold the metaphorical knife to your throat and say, you better do this or else I'm going to make your life so bloody miserable you're going to wish you were dead. Because we all know how well that worked in the past societies when we let tyrants run rampage through the world. Fucking Nazis in Germany acting like goddamn barbarians. Jews in the Holocaust. Now, I'm not saying that, oh, we're there yet. But if you don't think it's possible that we could see that level of brutality in the world again, you're not paying attention. If you don't think it's possible that the so-called anti-vaxxers and the so-called people like me who've gotten the one dose, but I won't go and get the booster shots, if you don't think that we can't experience that same level of brutality, you're not paying attention to anything or history at all, just because it hasn't happened yet. People say, oh, trust me, trust me, trust me. Society has evolved beyond the point of brutal wars and dictators. Really? Has it really? That's why there's video on the nightly news out of Ukraine, video that looks like black and white photographic images out of a textbook talking about the First World War, where you see buildings blown apart and the ground is all torn up. Looks like a residential district in hell, Oh, but trust us. Trust the experts, right? Humanity has evolved beyond the need for petty wars and violence over land. Sure it has. Meanwhile, we've got Trudeau in Canada here. He absolutely guarantees you that he did not force you to get the vaccine. We did not force them to get the vaccine. Every single person that took the vaccine took it willingly. Really? Really? My brother, he's 3 weeks out from graduating university and getting his degree in engineering. Him and his engineering team have spent the past 2 years working on this project, some race car or something for Baja that they're now going to race. He's leaving on Monday for Wisconsin, for Oshkosh, and he's going there to race. And then when he gets back, so he can go still, right, until the 11th. When he gets back now, he's got 3 weeks to decide what he's going to be doing. If he wants to go to the other competition that they're doing immediately the day after graduation, 3 weeks from now, the day after he graduates, they're supposed to be in Portland, Oregon. How is he going to cross the border when he hasn't gotten the bivalent booster shot? So now he has to make the choice to go and get this bivalent booster shot, and whatever potential health risks come as a result of that, or he can just throw away the past 2 years of work that they've spent building this race car thing, right? Oh, but Justin Trudeau, he promises you he's not forcing you to go and get the vaccine. Sure, right? Because my 23-year-old brother, who is otherwise in perfectly good health, now, more than a year after all of the lockdown and restriction bullshit with COVID has now ended, and even after President Biden says that COVID is over, and even after the WHO says that COVID is over, my brother's just going to wake up one day and decide, hey, you know what I want to do today? I'm going to go and get vaccinated with the bivalent booster. Why? Because I fucking can. For fucking shits and giggles. You know? His girlfriend, right? The two of them in the same program, going to be going to Portland, Oregon. So now she has to decide, is she going to get the bivalent booster shot? We've already talked about the fact that they've done the 2 vaccinations of the mRNA. We didn't want to do that because I frankly don't trust it. And also the reason I took the Johnson & Johnson as opposed to any of the others was because it was only 1 shot instead of 2. And 1 shot is the minimum amount of compliance to make the government happy and get them off my back, as opposed to taking the 2 shots. And now booster shots every 6 months until eternity. So I took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because I was planning on getting into the military. Well, now that's off the table because they don't want to hire anyone that's got unresolved debt. And because of all of the job shit that's been going on for 4 years and my inability to work or find work for someone that will pay me a livable wage, I am so fucking up shit's creek in debt, they're not going to take me into the military. Well, great. Now I feel like I wasted that. You know, I regret going and getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I wish I could take that back, but I can't because it's a fucking permanent thing that I put into my body, you know? We don't even know if my brother's girlfriend can get pregnant. Now, granted, they're not trying right now to have a child. They're both just finished school. They've been dating for like 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, basically since the start of the pandemic. And it is very probable that they could end up getting married in the future. Now, it's also probable that they just decide on their own that they don't want to have children. Based on the economy and how the world is going, they might just decide, you know what, it's not worth it to have children. But who knows? She might be sterile because of the 2 doses she already got. Now, imagine this. Imagine how brutal that would be if at this very moment in time, she can still bear children, even after taking the 2 doses. But now she goes and gets the bivalent booster. And that is what makes her sterile. And now she can't bear children. And now she can't start a family. Oops. Sorry. Trust the experts, they say. My sister is about to turn 21 years old. Her birthday is in October, so it's roughly 6 months away. She has been wanting to go to Las Vegas for her 21st birthday since she was 15. Because we traveled to Vegas with the family quite frequently. And anytime we're in the casinos or the hotels, you can't stand for more than 5 seconds in a single place without having security harass you. Well, you can't be here. She's a minor. She's underage. You have to move on. You can't stand here. You know, even when we're standing over by the bathrooms, we're not even on the casino floor. The fucking security come over harass us because she's underage and she can't be in the casino. She has been desperately wanting to go to Las Vegas for her birthday, and it's 6 months away. You imagine how devastated she was this morning when I told her the news that the CDC announces new COVID policy a year and a half after all restrictions have been lifted. You need to get the bivalent booster to travel to America. Well, great. There goes her birthday party. Oops. Sorry. Meanwhile, with me, my job situation, yeah, sure. I can maybe get a job working as a personal trainer at a gym here in Canada. It's not really what I want to do with my life. You know, every time I turn around, my life is being controlled by outside forces that I have no control over. I feel like I'm just riding in the passenger seat of the car where someone else steers my life where the fuck it goes. You know, one of the reasons that I decided that I don't particularly want to join the army anyways is because I wanted to move to fucking America. And what better way to ensure that never happens than to get enlisted in the Canadian Armed Forces and get to serve 3 years at a time on a Canadian Armed Forces base, assuming you're not lucky enough to go to some NATO country or whatever and serve overseas. You know, for all I know, I'll get stuck up in the fucking Yukon in the middle of the Canadian wilderness for 6 years of my life. I don't particularly want that either. So yeah, I can get a job working at a gym in Canada. I'd rather be in America. And in order to do that, I'm now going to have to either find a job within the next 10 days, or I'm going to have to go and get the bivalent booster shot to appease the overlords of this goddamn society that we live in. You know? Meanwhile, I've been doing work for 3 months now on a mobile game for a guy from California with the promises, oh, he'll pay me. He promises he'll pay me just as soon as we get the beta done. All right, well, now the beta's ready. So we sign a contract. He agrees to pay me $1,000 a month for the work I've already done. I submit him an invoice for $1,000. Oh, well, it's really hard on him right now, and it's really stressful, and it's putting a lot of pressure on him, and he doesn't really have the money right now, and he's not entirely sure if he can pay me at all. I mean, he signed the contract, his fucking name on it, but he's hoping I can maybe take $500 instead of $1,000. He'd really like to pay me $1,000, you know. Oh, and by the way, I'm being like really pushy, and I'm kind of like, you know, maybe I should be a bit more reasonable and I shouldn't expect so much from him. Yeah. Oops. Sorry. I don't have money. I want you to build this game for me, but oops, I can't pay you. Meanwhile, my other client, Jason Effects, he went and slept with a married woman, and she divorced her family and left her kids and her husband to go and become a part of this polycule. Now, me, personally, I don't give a shit. My boss's relationship is none of my business. I don't give a fuck who he sleeps with. Except for, well, now he's gone and pissed a lot of people off, and a lot of people that used to support him now don't. He's supposed to be guest of honor for some convention in the summer, and everyone's bailing on this convention because they don't want to have anything to do with him. So now he's losing support, and of course that comes with losing people who pay you on the Patreon, and he's losing support from that, and less money means less money goes to the developers. Less money goes to him, less money goes to the developers. Oops, sorry. Maybe you shouldn't have slept with that woman. I mean, I'm not going to judge. I don't fucking give a shit. You can fucking sleep with whoever you want, but if it's going to impact the job and the pay and the finances, now it suddenly becomes my business. And every day of my life, I wake up, it's just another adventure in hell. Just another thing that goes wrong. Just another reason why I'm never going to get out of my situation. Why I'm never going to be able to do the things that I want, or go the places I want, or live where I want, or work the jobs that I want. It just feels more and more inevitable each day that goes on, that the only way I am getting out of here is feet first in a cardboard box through my parents' front door. Yeah. That's about it.